Welcome back to the HGC. We are gearing up for game number 3 between Team Liquid and Zealots. Zealots came out with a surprise draft in game number 2, but Team Liquid a little bit too prepared for it as they were able to shut down the Cho'Gall.
Yeah, a lot of percentage damage. Basically, the dream draft for Team Liquid. You can't get a better draft against the Cho'Gall composition. I liked Cho'Gall Oriel Medivh. Liked it a lot. Just not against what Team Liquid was running.
What do you think? So here's what I was thinking when they went for that draft. Are you ready for it?
No.
You ready?
Go ahead anyways.
Tell me you're ready. Upheaval into Polybomb. You pull in members, and then you blow them up with the Consuming Blaze.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's super good. That's what I thought was coming the way when that draft actually came through. Because, like, obviously we're looking at it, and there's all these amazing tools available. The Curse Bullet, the Leorc, and the Tychus was left up. So I thought, okay, well, if you blow somebody in, drop the Polybomb, they all get Polybombs, and you kill them with Consuming Blaze before they all get out of the Polybomb duration, it can work out. It's a bit cheesy, but they were already invested in the, I guess, the cheese life right there at that point.
Can't fail.
Can't fail. It's perfect. Let's go to game number 3 here as we set up in the 1v1. Let's see who's going to take a lead. It's going to be Towers of Doom as Team Liquid is going to one of their favorite battlegrounds.
Towers of Doom is the map, and call me intrigued when it comes to the draft. First of all, question number 1, Vikings. Around for both of the teams. Wouldn't be surprised to see it as a first ban. But I'm also very interested to see if we have another out-of-the-box draft from the Zealots.
I like out-of-the-box drafts. We'll see if that will be coming here for the Zealots. As in game number 2, they definitely had a plan. So far, that has been the indicator for each of our series, though. In game 1, they had a plan. It was Dragonshire, a little bit more orthodox. Unorthodox in game number 2. But coming into game number 3, let's see if they stick with that plan, due to the mere fact that it's working out for them. At least they're coming in here and putting on some great games.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. I mean, we had already a fantastic first game, and the second one, while a bit odd when it came to the draft, we had some really nice fights and good execution there. And Zealots definitely find themselves in a spot where they are threatening Team Liquid, and this is more than anyone expected heading into the series. So the Zealots currently hovering a potential ban on Genji would make sense. His mobility can be very annoying on the map, and he has a great ability to also interrupt with the Shuriken, with the dash, trying to make sure that there is no channel on the altars when the objective is up. Team Liquid, they can, of course, react in kind. We have a lot of heroes, especially globals, that have been banned out on the map. In Nubarak, you could be banned out too, or you could just simply target the Uther. But it is the globals. I'd expect that they go and ban out the Haka.
Ban out the Dahaka, which does put Zealots know that Team Liquid is willing to go in the Vikings if they have the draft available for it. So Zealots need to be worrying about that as they choose their first T-roll on the left side here. We'll have to see what Zealots want to move into. It's the first time that we've seen them have first pick today, with their Nubrak still being available. In particular, I think I enjoy a Nubrak compositions when you think you might face off against the Vikings, but that threat of it being there doesn't mean that you walk away from the Uther possibility.
Yeah, Uther is always one of the things you have to consider, but a Nubarak is extremely strong to drive a fight. And also with Cocoon, you just have the best tool in the game. Uther should still be the pickup for Team Liquid. It's the early start into a draft, and if we are following any normal pattern, then of course our high priority picks are still going to be the same. It's those staples in basically every single draft that we have seen since the mid-season brawl. Uther very likely here. Could see a Greymane even picked up, good damage against the camps, good damage against the structures. You have a lot of wave clear, and of course also team fight potential. There's a couple of ways how you can play around it now.
If the Vikings are picked up by Team Liquid, Zealots are not afraid to move into Abathur as a counter pick there and just try to be strong after the level 10. The question is, can they handle the pressure that comes in from Team Liquid on the early side? And of course, that late game level 16 that we've seen from TL. But we haven't had an Abathur versus Vikings match in a long time.
Yeah, and Abathur and the Vikings are both, now that the Haka is banned out, definitely solid picks for both of the teams.
Yeah.
And as we said before, it's not only Team Liquid that has a great Abathur or Vikings player, it's actually true for both, but it's also the Zealots here in form of Shed. But Liquid wants to fight a teamfight composition. They're going into an Oriel together with Illidan, so it's likely that we are and trying to repay them in kind. Hyper carry with the Tacita and Tracer. So first of all, taking the Tacita away, Uther probably going to be banned out by the Zealots now. You don't really want to give the Illidan composition Oriel plus Uther, and then potentially the Lunara. So, yeah, Zealots are going to ban out Uther. And Liquid, let's see what they are going to get rid of here. But both of the teams already going for a very aggressive game.
Yeah, see what Team Liquid's going to ban here. They could ban out anything they would like at some point, but they want to make sure they stay away from the supports. You want to make sure that you leave that Rhaegar up, and you force the burden of banning that Uther on the Zealots. If you were to ban out Rhaegar here, Zealots ban out Uther, then suddenly kind of options for Illidan being available for that double support could be floating around. There's also the option, too, is that you can leave Illidan as just a split pusher and pick up a different hyper carry later on. So Team Liquid wants to move into a different route here of their bans. Let's see what they're going to ban out.
I wouldn't mind them trying to support choke a little bit. I would definitely be decent to put more pressure on the Tracer, but they get rid of Sonya, so Zarmany is being targeted currently with the second ban for that potential top lane match. And also Sonya is really good against Illidan with that straight up damage on a single target that she can provide. Here comes Uther as the ban, as we expected. You have to do that.
Yeah.
You cannot possibly allow your opponent to have Auriel plus Uther with an Illidan and Lunara on top. So we can now see Rhaegar plus Auriel would definitely be an option for them, and then pick their battery. That's definitely well, that would be a very solid pick for them, and then just flex a little bit on the tank later on.
What do they move into for that battery, though? Do you grab an auto attacker like the Lunara, or do you even grab the Gul'dan, who can have that horrify against the Tassadar on the Tracer?
I personally, with what they're running here, like Lunara a bit better. You have to be careful against Tracer, but you should be fine with the double support, and if you really feel that you are struggling, then you can still pick up the Greater Spell Shield on level 13, since one of the biggest problems you are facing is Tracer's ult.
Sure.
So I actually prefer that personally, but as you said, if you go into Gul'dan, they have a Horrify available and can isolate even more. Wouldn't even mind too much if they would target Tracer with even a variant. But it's Diablo, so Diablo is a hero that we normally saw on Tomb and also on Shrines. So now we have a Brightwing Auriel, adding a bit more global to it. Pseudo-global on Illidan, another one on Brightwing, and Diablo for potential stuns into walls.
Yeah, but they'll leave out the Rhaegar, so it does kind of indicate to us that they will be moving into a different hyper carry for that 5th pick. Rhaegar is good with Illidan, but if Illidan's going to be doing the hunt and keeping up the soaking, you don't really need that Rhaegar anymore. Rhaegar would give you mercenary camp control, but hey, Team Liquid decides they want to move into the Brightwing, and they're going to go ahead and go for that global instead and just try to outplay their opponents. Now, Zealots here, on their side, do need to grab another support and maybe a little bit more damage for their compositions.
I'm actually a little bit surprised and disappointed that we are apparently not going to see the Vikings or Abathur here. Shad normally on the Tassadar. Yes, they can still swap Tassadar around. But with those two going up against each other, I really expected that to happen. I really thought we are going to see the Vikings here, or we are going to see Abathur, but that's not the case. Malthael is being picked, and so is Rhaegar. So, against Liquid, normally we even see bans against the Vikings, not so in this game.
No Vikings for our teams here. So Team Liquid on their last pick, and with it being that Malthael lock in here, I think the Lunara even becomes even tastier of an option with the control that he'll have on the fights. A couple of melees for them to hit there with the Splinter Spear at level 7. Any other options that could stick out to you? I've seen Vola with Hungering Arrow builds against Tracers, but it's a bit difficult into double support. We'll see what Team Liquid wants to pick up.
Yeah, I personally am still a fan of Lunara here.
Yeah, I think that's the auto go-to for me. Cassia, would that be an option?
I suppose so, yeah. You could go into the Cassia as well. Could use her. We don't have the same amount of stuns, though, that we had with the previous Cassia comp, so it's going to be a little bit harder. We have Team Liquid also with a lot of Vala play. You can definitely play all around. It's basically a matter of preference at this point, what you are really trying to do here.
Will it be the Lunara, or will it be something else? There it is.
Okay.
Lunara here for Team Liquid. And for this battleground, I think I lean a little bit more towards Team Liquid, even with the Brightwing pick on the side here. Get those globals, have Illidan go for invades if they want to, with Diablo leading the charge. And Lunara, again, that late game allows Illidan to be more effective.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that there's a lot of tools against Tracer. Illidan is also extremely scary with this, so I can definitely see Liquid being the ones to call the shots here. But what really threw me off a bit in the series is the first game. First game was not what I expected at all. I really think that the Zealots came out swinging in game number 1 to an extent where I thought they shouldn't be able to pull this off against Liquid. The coordination was better on the side of the Zealots. Liquid was really struggling and then lost just hero after hero, lost control. In this game, they seem to be more the ones that are playing around their global that they can then use to push Zealots in a similar direction. But I'm still a little bit worried because Zealots are looking much more coordinated than they did in the previous games they played.
Looking great, but at the same time, you look at Team Liquid, Illidan with Darkmok, always a scary situation here.
Yeah.
Bringing in the Hunt, locking down targets of Diablo, and then, of course, Lunara here for the damage. Now, there is always the Tracer Tassadar factor. If they're able to get a Pulse Bomb off, pick somebody off, Tracer and Tassadar can just run down a team comp, especially if they get on top of that Lunara.
Also, the late game with Malthael would be really strong. We
Sure.
saw Malthael already have a massive impact in the last game, and Malthael is also another hero that really can excel quite a bit when he's in a situation where he is kept alive by a double support. If you go Touch of Death on level 7, you can shut down a lot of the healing that Auriel can provide. So there are definitely tools in the arsenal of the Zealots that are dangerous to Liquid.
For me, I want the Zealots to have a strong early game. If they're able to have mercenary control, get those sappers pushing in different lanes, and make sure to avoid any invades from the Diablo, I can see them doing a solid job going to the mid game and setting up for that late game that you mentioned with that Malthael. Tracer and Rhaegar in particular could do a good job of rotating around, jumping on the mercenaries, and then forcing fights when need be. But again, heading into the mid game when the Hunt comes online, that's where I get terrified for them. That's where Team Liquid can really bring up that spike.
Yeah, but I don't know. Zealots have a bit convinced me in the first game, so I'm kind of curious to see what they can pull off with this. I actually believe that they will make it extremely difficult for Team Liquid here. But I guess we're ready to go, so let's start jumping into our third game actually. The series is tied at this point, and with Team Liquid definitely winning the last one, they have a little bit of momentum for them, but we're going to find out now if they can make it happen or not. The Zealots are eager for a win, and we can now find out if they will able to achieve it.
Let's kick off the match here. Game number 3, Towers of Doom. Zealots on the left side here. Mopsio on the Anubarak, Poyok on Tracer. Zarmanil playing Malthael. Rhaegar is going to be played by Grandpa. And then, of course, Shad on Tassadar. So Shad, get his Tassadar back again. We'll see if he grabs those force walls.
And to the right side of the map, Team Liquid with Splendor on Brightwing. We're seeing Diablo played by Blumby at that front line. Hazorps on the second support with Auriel. Darkmok, of course, on the Illidan. And then we have Nurok on Lunara trying to deliver all that energy, all that hope for Lunara's heals and bringing the pain. Zealots have been looking good so far in the series. The draft in game number 2 not quite coming through for them. But let's find out if on this third map they can set themselves ahead again, or if Team Liquid is now starting to turn the series around completely.
And we're going to have that Pulse Strike at level 1 here for our Tracer, increasing the melee Pulse Bomb charge from 10 to 20% against heroes. So looking to grab as many Pulse Bombs as possible. If you can get those Pulse Bombs off on opponents, such as Illidan or Lunara, set your team up to get those early victories and keep running forward with it. Usually you can see the Tracer reveal also at level 1. If you think your opponent's going to be running in the bushes and you want to make sure you don't lose vision, but grabbing this level 1 does indicate that we are intending to blow up targets.
Yeah, Darkmok's Illidan is definitely something we have to watch out for here. It's actually really interesting, because when Team Liquid started to take a few wins again in this phase, one of the first things that got mentioned by Splendor later on was that just back in 2016, at the beginning of them playing together, Darkmok basically told Splendor, hey, if you pick me Illidan, I win the game for us.
Sure.
And that was true for a long time, and Splendor commented it by saying it still holds true in 2017. And that was actually a tweet of him on Twitter that Alex, the Pro G, retweeted after they beat Team Liquid, as Liquid was trying to use their Illidan composition and it didn't work out, just making a bit of fun of it, a bit of friendly banter there. But so it shows really that while Darkmok is excellent at playing Illidan, they are not unbeatable with the hero anymore.
Alex Aproji with a shade, man. It's always the most casual way of shading somebody. If they say something on Twitter like 3 weeks later and you dig through their tweet history and then retweet it after beating them, too funny to me, man. As Blumby actually takes a Pulse Bomb to the face here. Mopsio goes in for the engage and we'll have Tassadar slow him down, but still, Team Liquid get on the retreat here as Zealots will grab a few shots and open up here with a 36-32.
I really believe that for the Zealots, the late game is what they are more so aiming for than anything else, just simply because they are having Malthael in their setup. And while Malthael can already have the impact in the early game, later on, after 16, he is just absolutely brutal. So for now, they are completely happy just letting a few of the early shots go. They can force a fight, they're going to be happy with it. Both of the teams have actually quite a few heroes that get their spikes later. Illidan is a very good example of this.
Pay attention to what Zealots are doing right now. They grabbed the Mercenary Camp on the bottom, pressured their opponent, forced them to deal with the Sappers, and then they rotated middle and cleared out the turrets, realizing that Ariel and Nara are in tandem, are going to be together often. Ooh, Splendor might even get killed here.
Wow.
Goes for the kill, brings out the melee as well as the parting gift, so nice pickup by them. But yes, Zealots here are in such a good spot of rotating around their opponents and grabbing the experience lead.
They are in a very good spot, especially since they just cleared the wave at the bot lane, and with Brightwing being the only hero on the lane, it means that now Liquid is missing out on an entire wave of experience at that bottom lane, whereas the Zealots hold all the lanes still with heroes. So that all of a sudden gives them nearly a level lead. And they took the camps too, so that kill against Brightwing was huge.
Absolutely crazy here, as the Zealots are just doing so well. Now, how will they handle this altar phase as about to spawn? They will have that 7 that you just mentioned. In fact, they're invading into the mercenary camp on the right side. Glumby will scout it out here, dropping the fire here to get the reveal. Poik maybe getting a little aggressive as everyone from Team Liquid is on the way.
Yeah, they're starting to stun Blumby again, and Blumby is falling. Diablo down, the camp taken by Rhaegar. The Lightning Bond on level 1 has a huge impact right now also on their ability to take camps. Rhaegar was the one rotating to the top lane with Malthael to make sure that with a double Lightning Shield, they could grab another Zappa camp. So they are heavily controlling the camps right now, thanks to their clear, and they have taken an entire level lead. They have just put another 8 shots onto Team Liquid and taken the overall lead in the game.
The Zealots drink their apple juice this morning or what? Like, they are seriously destroying here in game number 3. They did well in game number 1, and they keep moving forward. Now, we've talked about level 10, where the hunt comes off, and of course, Lenara gets some kill potential potentially with that leaping strike, so they can target some focus targets down, but I did not expect the Zealots to be this far ahead this early.
Yeah. It was Zealots picked, they actually picked 2 of the first 2 altars. I actually expected them to play even a little bit more careful and say, okay, we need a few more levels and talents in before we can really roll with this. But they are, again, as in game number 1, they are the aggressive ones. They go in for the aggression, they go in to make their plays, they are rotating on the map, and this is exactly a mirror of what we have seen on Dragonshire. And we said it on the first map, if you didn't know better, you would say the team names are mixed up, and this is exactly the feeling that I get in this game too.
9.5 to 8.5 here for Team Liquid, a full level lead up as Zealots are heading towards level 10 way before their opponents, setting up for an aggressive push into them as well with Mercenary Camp spawning soon. Will the Zealots continue to make some plays for these mercenary camps, or are they going to deal with Team Liquid, as Team Liquid is just looking for experience while Illidan gets pressured in the middle lane?
Yeah, Illidan gets pressure. Touch of Death, by the way, on 7 now. I mentioned it during the draft that it's going to be a great tool against Oriel in these team fights. I'm very worried for Team Liquid right now. We have the level 10s, this time Archon over the Force Wall, Cocoon being used here, and of course it should be the Tormented Souls here for Malthael.
There it is, picks it up, and Team Liquid, realizing that they're a full level behind, will move in and start working on their sappers, as this altar that spawns in 5 seconds is free for the Zealots.
Yeah, that's free low right there.
Oh, hang on, look at the top lane too. Illidan also taking some damage. Illidan will get killed right by the turret at the very bottom. Rhaegar also grabbing the altar. 4 more shots landing on the core of Team Liquid, and Zealots are ahead for you at home listening. 36 to 20 with 11 to 9 in levels.
Liquid needs a wake-up call, and they need it fast. Their 10 is going to put them on the map with Illidan and the Hunt, but we are talking 3 kills against 0 in the early game against these Tracer rotations, and Zealots rotations overall have been very crisp, very fast, and always with a purpose. Not simply trying to put an advantage on a certain lane, but always with a very specific goal. Take a kill, take the sappers, and they always make it happen. Especially Rhaegar and how he's currently helping the team to put pressure onto the lanes by simply claiming every single Zappa camp is great. Or they just move onto the lanes to take towers. And Liquid is now starting to move more as a unit. But look at Darkmook here. He's gonna fall again, and what a kill by Tracer. Great play by Poik, moving deep into the death zone just to secure kill number 4 for the team. And they have just taken the bell tower on top of all things.
Illidan can't hunt you if you're hunting him down, and Poik just showing off the Tracer right now. And everyone from Zealots, after they grab the bell tower on the top right, they rotate down. Team Liquid has been working on this fort, but they have yet to get it. It is close here, but with Shad on the side to drop down the shield, he should be able to keep it alive. In fact, he moves forward with the Arc on. Emerald wouldn't be in use, but here's Tracer.
Tracer is already in, trying to go for Splendor. Has orbs with the heals, but look at Blumby. He is in a very tough spot, not mobile enough, trying to dash onto the cocoon, but he is still about to fall. Can he survive? No, he can't. Diablo down, and Oriel is now attempting to get away, but after Brightwing has been taken apart, the Aegis is all that saves Hazops for now, and the stun eliminates him. He's dead. Ancestral comes through. Darmok himself taken down as Zarmany on Malthael jumps in. And Team Liquid loses 4 heroes, only Lunara alive. Zealots with a 2-level lead grab the level 13 talent and another bell tower. 5 bell towers against 3.
And they didn't lose a single member. Here's the replay as they're focusing down Blumby. Malthael just working in those auto attacks, getting these kills. And watch Splendor on the right side here. He gets hit by Poik as the big pulse bomb comes out and just blows him up. Zarmany diving pretty hard here, but with the sports on the side, they're able to keep him alive. We'll have all the bell towers being grabbed back here. Only one standing here, but Team Liquid working on the one on the top. But look at the score. 14 to 11 behind in 3 levels here. 36 to 15 in score.
Team Liquid is getting wrecked. Absolutely, completely destroyed. Zealots have 8 kills against 0. They have more than twice the hit points on the core. And they have yet to hit their big power spikes on Malthael.
Tricky Esports and Dignitas right now have got to be smiling. Possible matches for them here. Getting that top 3. Expert as well. Team Liquid wanting to go to the Western Clash, but the Zealots are putting up a fight. In fact, they're putting up more than a fight. They're putting a beatdown now as they move in for the boss and grab 4 more shots, putting the score of Team Liquid down to 11 on their core.
Dignitas is extremely happy about what they're seeing right now. Absolutely no doubt about it. After them losing to Fnatic, this is the best case scenario at this point.
Hostile outs coming in, Tainment Strike going off, hoping to get someone against the wall, but Zealots get away easily. And now they can float around, wait till level 16, and then force another fight on Team Liquid. And guess what's coming, Caldor? The 3 altar phase soon.
Yeah, exactly. And just as we're talking about Dignitas, who of course are watching this game with great interest, I want to point out that even if Team Liquid loses against the Zealots, doesn't mean that Dignitas is in.
No.
It just means that Dignitas has a realistic chance again.
Well, the Zealots here working on that 16. Team Liquid still in this series. Here's all 3 altars spawning. 1 to the bottom, 2 to the top. Blumby engaging on top of the new bracket. Here comes Darkmok.
Yeah, Darkmok once again. This time he wants to be the one who really shows how Illidan is being played. He wants to be the one that sets the accent here, but he goes a bit too deep, darts out. Does he get healed? No, he gets cocooned instead, and we have all of a sudden Malthael going in again. Darkmok running away. Here comes the Apocalypse. Is it the kill? And yes, it is. Mopsio is down. That's a 5 versus 4. Tracer is all the way up at the top channeling altar, so it's a 4 versus 5 the entire time as we see Zealots fighting against Team Liquid.
It's going to be 1 altar to the right. Grandpa will be surviving. In fact, he finds Brightwing on the side. Splendor might be in trouble. Can Zarmany get the kill? Blumby's coming in and knock him against the wall. Darkmok hunts to the top left on Tracer. They're fighting here, looking to grab their own altar. Pulse Bomb will go off with the perfect Aegis.
Absolutely perfect. This question is, can Grandpa be interrupted? And no, they can't make it happen. So the exchange in shots, 2 of the altars going over to the Zealots, and only 1 captured by Team Liquid, which means we have 32 hit points on the Zealots core, and only 3 points for Team Liquid. A single altar, a boss, a triple mercenary camp is enough for the Zealots to finish the game, and they have the level 16 talent. They are a level ahead. This is the Zealots just absolutely crushing it in this 3rd game.
It does look like a dire situation, but do not forget, Towers of Doom is where we see the most comebacks here. 32 to 3. Can Team Liquid control the battlefield? Emerald Wind does go up, heading Mopsio. Nurok just barely surviving. He will run down to the bottom right and tap to heal up. 16 to 15, and Zealots are fighting for the Merc camps.
Yeah, they're fighting for the Merc camp, and so is Team Liquid. They're moving in, they're trying to claim it here, but they're fighting a talent down, and now we're having Malthael going in deep. Darkmok is low, Blumby is dead. The Aegis barely saves Illidan. He tries to move away here, but Hazops is dead. This is Oriel dying a 5 versus 3 for a little bit. Nurok is blown to pieces by Poik. Poik is just wrecking this backline. line. He is all over the place. He's always putting in the pressures. Here at this point, he's just taking out everyone. He has 33,000 damage, the same amount as Lunara, and gets kill after kill in this game.
And Team Liquid's going to have to defend this push that's coming. Rhaegar's working on the sappers on the left side here to push in the bottom, and an Ultra's going to be spawning soon. Oh no, there it is in the next 30 seconds. So they have to watch out for these sappers that could be pushing the bottom. At least kill one of those, just to make sure they don't lose to them. But also, they have to deal with 2 Ultras that spawn at the top left and the top right.
Uh-oh,
No,
Blumby might have overstepped here. Use Apocalypse. Brightwing helps out. Blumby, he's down. He's down, and he has no souls. No souls for him. This is going to be the bell tower. Illidan is trying to see if he can maybe claim one of the altars. It's 1 second. They are live and they're on the map. Illidan jumps in. They're trying to get the kills. They're forcing the fight. It's the only chance they have.
They're going for it. Cocoon. They popped out Tormented Souls. They'll just shred Illidan. Nurok in trouble as well, attempting to retreat. On the side, Ariel gets blown up, and Poik and Zarmany are diving into the kill zone. Nurok is going to die to poison, and the last altar in the top right corner will be channeled.
They don't even need
Zealots are going to take a look. They don't even need it. The Sappers sap on by and get the core.
That was a full team wipe again. 16 kills to 1. Team Liquid got a single kill in this entire game. 1 kill against 16 and got destroyed.
If you're Team Liquid going into game number 4, you are hoping the Zealots are going to go ahead and draft Cho'Gall again. Because right now, Zealots are looking very dominant in situations where they're playing normal compositions. You okay?
No, I'm not.
You were not expecting this today. You got in the car today and you were like, Dick, Fnatic, let's go, let's get ready.
I'm like, seriously, I'm questioning right now, what do you think is the reason why this game... We looked at this game and said we have a clear favorite. Zealots, on a good day, you would expect them to take a map, maybe 2. But you have a clear favorite going into this, and you think Team Liquid, okay, is going to take it. What's the problem here? Is Zealots all of a sudden, after they just lost 3 matches in a row without taking a single map, have they really stepped it up and they all of a sudden clicked and it's like, okay, we figured it out. We have now the practice together that everything fits better?
Sure.
Or is it just Team Liquid straight up sucking today?
I mean, are we at a moment here where we can look at Team Liquid and say, hey, they're inconsistent now in phase number 2. There are days where they look amazing. Then there are days where we see them get 3-0'd by Tricked Esports and lose games to Zealots. Are they just a team right now that is having problems, A, in this meta, or B, with mentality? Because it seems like when they start to lose pretty hard.
Yeah, it's just weird. I mean, this phase for Liquid, we heard from them at the end of the last phase, they were struggling, and they said, hey, we have lost our momentum, we have lost our drive. They had their coach coming in, he really helped them, and when we started into this phase, into phase 2, we were all questioning a little bit, okay, where's Team Liquid at? How did the phase start? Team Liquid destroys Dignitas without losing a single
3-0.
And we're like, oh my god, they're back. They talked about it, they said it's all fine. What happened after that? They lost to Fnatic, but it was a 2-3.
Yeah, it was a 5-game series.
Super close. It was a great series. Then they take down the Playing Ducks with a 3-0. They win against the good guys. They only lose the series against Strict without taking a map, and you could just push that away as being a bit of an upset.
Yeah, an odd day.
Shouldn't have happened, was an off day. But now they're 1-2, and you could argue that the second map should have worked a little bit better for the Zealots if they didn't tunnel vision on that draft. I really don't understand this anymore. Is it just Zealots figuring it out? Is it Team Liquid all of a sudden just saying, hey, you know what, we just are falling back into a slum? I don't understand what's going on here.
I mean, there's one thing to say is that the HGC right now, our teams are getting closer and closer because they have this constant competition here. If you ever have a day off, you are going to get dismantled by teams that are considered lower than you.
Yeah.
Right now in the HGC, our lower teams are playing just as well as our mid to top tier teams.
Zealots are looking fantastic. The only thing in my head is, are they looking so strong because for them everything clicks?
Yeah.
Or is Team Liquid just not punishing them as they usually do, which allows them to look that strong? Because Poik just was unleashed in that last game. He just dove so deep for kill after kill. They locked everyone down, and the liability of the first matches that we had with Mopsio on his ETC not getting value, on map number 1, he convinced us immediately that right now we're talking about a different frontliner for the team. He made all the right moves on his ETC, he got great value for them, and this is... I am blown away by this series. I'm just like, what is going on here?
I'm telling you, it's the apple juice. Zealots woke up and drank an entire liter. So let's go ahead and get ready for our 4th game, as we'll be choosing the battleground, and guess what? The Zealots